Hello, my Teaserking family. 1 second. I drove home. I drive home with the windows down, and my hair gets all wind blown, and then it sticks up, and it's not good look for the professor. So, how's everybody today? I thought I would do the class tonight instead of tomorrow afternoon. I don't seem to get the same views Friday at 2 o'clock, at least off football season. When football comes back, then I'll be doing them more often. So, I'm on the exercise bike and I'm watching CNBC and that clown on CNBC, what's his name, the bald guy. He's talking about some write down in the stock market tomorrow. I haven't seen it on YouTube, but he's like saying, well, it's going to go down, it's going to correct, which is unusual because normally he's selling. He's selling how strong it is. So I don't know what that was about. I didn't see anything on YouTube. The market's way overvalued. Tesla, it's funny. I'm on YouTube and I'm trying to find like stock market stuff. And almost every blurb on the stock market, and I don't normally go on the stock market, was CNBC, the communist news channel. You can't listen to that. That's a bunch of bullshit. So, but I must have saw 20 of them. Oh, the market's great. The economy's great. Everything's great. Okay. So one thing I wanted to share with you. So I saw this story. And where did I put it? I usually put it in football. I have a football folder. Anything kind of interesting I put there. I got it in the wrong one. So let's go to football. And no wonder everybody's so confused. So I go into Forbes and give me the definition of inflation. I know what it is. You know what it is. It's the printing of money. It devalues it because there's too much printed. Just like anything else that's overprinted, too many oranges, so they lower the price. So let me read you this. Inflation is caused by the gradual increases in the prices of goods and services throughout the economy. I almost threw up when I read that. This is for explaining what inflation is. Low inflation is necessary for the economy. Since when? But too much inflation causes serious problems. Low inflation is not good for the economy. Anytime you ruin the dollar is not good. Inflation has spun out of control lately, according to the Bureau, some government agency. Inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index increased 9% over the past 12 months, despite the best efforts of the Federal Reserve to keep printing the money, keeping it going. Rising inflation means everything from groceries to cars become more expensive and may be harder to afford everyday essentials. You can better protect your finances by understanding how inflation works and what causes it. What is inflation? If you walk through a grocery store or the shopping mall lately, chances are you've been shocked to see how much prices have increased on all sorts of things. The cost of everything from clothes to cereal has risen sharply, all due to inflation. Well, it's due to prices going up. Inflation is nothing more than broad-based price increases throughout the economy. To measure inflation, statistical agencies collect data on current prices for different goods and services and compare them to prices for the same thing in the past. For example, the CPI measures changes in prices paid by consumers for food, fuel. Now, they don't measure food or fuel, housing, transportation, apparel, medical care, and other expenses. The Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index takes a similar approach. These price indexes serve as representative samples that allow economists, I don't use that, and I'm an economist, investors, and regular people do not understand your bullshit. How prices change over time. When analysts talk about inflation, they're referring to the percentage change of the index, which reflects the change in purchasing power of your money. That's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about purchasing power. They're talking about prices. They don't even understand what the fuck they're talking about. So we got a serious problem is they'll sit there and say something. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. So, hey, Bobby Bo. I was just reading the definition of inflation according to Forbes, and it's an increase in prices. So I can't let that go because that's such bullshit. I made the chicken and I got a salad. This is dinner. It's a little late, but I swam and it was like not that hungry at 5:30, but now after swimming, I'm hungry. Oh, good. Watch the one on that I told you on. Oh no, I got that for you. And cholesterol. No, I'm having the chicken. It's a chicken salad that I made. So it's chicken. So I cooked the chicken. Now I did use olive oil, but I did use a little honey in it to make it tasty. And then it's just really a salad. I got celery, broccoli, lettuce, and mushrooms in it. I left the red peppers out. I'll cook them with my omelet tomorrow. And my Ken's dressing. I'm going to do a 24-hour fast starting Sunday. I'd love for you to not eat Sunday at all. So if you start at Saturday night and go have some ribs or chicken or pig's ears, don't eat Sunday. Don't eat till Monday lunch because, again, it allows the little guy inside of you to dig out and get rid of all the bad cells. And you're just getting to the point, he comes out at 18 hours. So if you let him go to 40, if you just skip dinner, then you wake up, you're already at 36 hours. So you wait till noon. It's like 42, 43 hours. All you've done is skip one day. Just skip one day. Instead of 24, you're already there, right? So it's 5 o'clock Sunday night. You haven't eaten all day. Fuck it. Just have your water, your tea, your coffee, whatever. Go get distracted. Go play golf. Have a lot of water. Don't eat. Wait, just sleep on it and then get up and eat lunch. All right. And you'll have gotten to 42 hours by skipping dinner. All you got to do is skip one day and you're at 42 hours. But since the autography kicks in at 18, from 18 to 24 is not a lot. But if you give it to 40, that cleans you up and you'll be fine. I'm just quick. How about Sunday lunch around 1 p.m. Eat your Saturday. Well, you're going to lunch. So if you got a lunch plans, go to lunch. I always find during the week's easier because I want to eat on Sunday, but Monday, I don't care if I eat. If you're going to do that, wait till dinner time Monday, and at least you'll get 30 hours in. You want to let the autography, which happens at 18 hours, and it accelerates after 18. That's why I'm saying instead of 6 hours, give it, sleep on it or go to dinner, and then it'll clean you up much better. You'll be healthy. I am glad he mentioned the weight part. Like I told you about that, I don't want to lose too much weight. I dropped too much weight. He recommended doing less hours if I want to avoid too many pounds drop. Well, I'm looking at the autography, not the weight. I mean, you're not going to lose that much weight, but the autography of healing your body is what I'm more concerned about. The heart, the kidney, the liver, everything like that. That's why I'm pushing for through the 36-hour, 42-hour, not for weight loss. I don't care about that. All right, so this is some stuff I see on Microsoft. Housing had a reduced contribution. There's every reason to believe that this will continue and come down further, she said. That's an important thing. So housing market's dead. What's happened is the interest rates, you bought a house at 2%, let's say. And now it's 7% because of the inflation. And you don't really want to sell your house now, because then you got to get a new house at 7%. And it's going to kill you. So your payment's going to go from, let's say, $2,000 to $3,500, which you can't afford, just like a car, right? So that's what they're talking about, is people aren't selling, all that stuff. That's what happens. That's the inflation causing the interest rates to go up. They still want to talk about, like, the Fed raising rates raises the interest rate. It doesn't. It really should work reverse. If the Fed really was cutting inflation, I wouldn't need to charge as much interest on a car loan or a house loan, because now the money's not being inflated anymore. So I can lower my rate. So it's got nothing to do with the Fed rate. Will it help injury too? My left knee pain? Absolutely. Well, think about it like this, Bobby. Your body, you break your leg or you break your arm, you have a shoulder from throwing too hard, and what happens? Your body heals it, right? You break your finger or your foot, or you break your arm. What happens? Your body heals you, right? So yeah, the body will heal your knee. The autography will definitely help it, because what the autography does, it goes after the damaged parts, mostly cells. So whatever's damaged in your knee, the autography will go get and clean up. That's why you want to do it, but it doesn't start till 18 hours. And after, like, when you get into the 40s, which is what I keep trying to explain, it's really kicked in at a high level. So if you're already at 24, sleep on it and then eat lunch, and you'll be at 42. But the extra, now you're on 24 hours of autography at high level. And what do I tell you? I do it for my feet. I can't walk, and 2 days later, I'm running around the house. Not a problem. It won't help your back. That knee's like twisting, and it's out of place, so it really won't help it. But It'll help your feet or anything like that. Especially you got a cold, you got any kind of sickness, anything your body will clean up. You want the autography for that. So yeah, definitely for your knee, your arm. I'm sure when you played, your arm hurt from throwing because they didn't pussy you and only allow you 100 throws a game. And you should have played every five days instead of every day. Baseball. All right, so Ford cut the price of electric version of its signature F-150 pickup truck as much as $10,000 as a glut of expensive electric vehicles have begun piling up at the dealerships, the New York Times reported. What do I tell you? Say's law. This is investment. Nobody wants, so you got two things going. One, nobody wants electric cars or F-50s or trucks or ever. Two, you've got these higher interest rates going in. So who the fuck's going to buy a car when interest rates are 8, 9, 10%? The Toyota guy's saying it's $900, $1,000 a month for payment. You're going to buy an F-150 electric. So you not only do you not want the electric, you don't want the high interest rates. I don't know why it's so hard. If things cost more, you don't buy them. We don't buy $30 steaks. We don't want to buy $20 steaks. Salmon is $20 at my expensive grocery store. I don't buy it. I haven't bought. It was $10 a piece. I bought some salmon, but I didn't really like it because it was farm raised. But basically, they're out of their mind. Salmon's like $17, $20. I just walk right by it. Like, I ain't buying it. Get a nice New York strip for 10. And I'm a happy camper. I keep buying the hamburger at $5. And I'm still kind of stunned that the hamburger, 91% sirloin, if you buy 3 pounds, it's $5.99 a pound. I'm like, probably be 10 or 15 by now. So as you can see, now my biggest thing with the car is Tesla. Who the fuck is so stupid to buy Tesla right now? And there was an article, which let me get to, where their margins are down because they're lowering their price. So the cost is still here, and you need to sell it for here to make your margins. But because you're selling it cheap to sell it, there's no margin. You're not making money. You're selling the Tesla at no money. Why would you own the stock with high interest rates going on? And don't fuck around with me. There's no way inflation's going down. How can it? You printed it to zero. It's hit the iceberg. The ship is sinking, and everybody's saying, no, the Titanic's okay. Yeah, we know it hit the iceberg. We know the water's running into the boat. We know people are getting off the boat because it's sinking, but, it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's the Titanic. It can't sink. I mean, what the fuck are they talking about? Next. New car market. Ford. Tesla drops prices by up to 20% thanks to millions of unwanted electric vehicles. Drop prices by up to 20% thanks to millions of unwanted vehicles. Well, that's simply everything comes back to Adam Smith and Say's law. You got millions of it. What is this? Millions of unwanted vehicles. Nobody wants it. That's the key. Nobody wants the fucking electric vehicles. It's all a facade. Oh, the planet's we're all going to die if you keep buying gas-powered cars. Oh, really? Oh, and you know this how? And you realize we're a planet. Okay, that's like the same guy saying gold's not price fixed. Oh, really? Okay. You guys are drinking heavily, I see. Hey, Eric. Yeah, not with your money, I wouldn't. I'm happy with my Camry. But there's millions of unwanted electric vehicles. So why is Tesla's stock price going up? Would you buy Tesla's stock price way overvalued at $300 a share? Why? Why is AI going up? See, there's about 5 or 6 stocks, Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and this Nvidia and Tesla, and they keep going up because the real reason is nobody wants their money in the bank because they know they won't be able to get it out if it has a value and all. And they think after they call up their stockbroker or their financial planner, what do I do with my money? I don't trust the bank. Oh, well, of course, put it in stocks and bonds because they always do well when the banks go under. How about gold? No. You know, gold doesn't do. Look at the chart. Gold, it's near its high. Wasn't that because of J.P. Morgan price fixing it? Oh, I don't know anything about that. I mean that. No. It's just this is supply and demand. There's no demand for gold. But how about all the central banks buying gold to the moon? Millions and millions of ounces. Well, no, I mean, look at China only owes 2,000 tons of gold, the central bank. Well, I thought China had 60,000 tons of it. The fuck are you talking about? So again, this is the problem. They tell you some story that's such bullshit that how do you check out? That's why I'm here. I love the Camry. Well, I love my 05 Camry. Much better. It was an 03, I think. Much better than this one. This one's kind of harder. So many blind spots because I'm used to the 03. I look back, I don't see people. I'm running into people walking behind me because I can't see them. It's really terrible. So I do like it, but I don't know. I think my next car is going to be a Mercedes because I'm going to buy it with my gold. Right. So no demand for electric vehicles. They go build them all. Now the price drops by 20% thanks to millions of unwanted. They're still unwanted. It's not the price that makes them unwanted. So in other words, in the marketplace, it's not like the demand's here at $30,000 and you're selling it at 40, so you come down to 30. Like our ribs or our steaks, there's demand for steaks, let's say at $10, and they're trying to sell them for 20. But if they lower them to 10, then everybody will buy them. The demand for electric vehicles, I don't even think there is any. You're trying to sell them up here, and the demand there's no demand. The demand's here, and you're trying. So I'm going to lower the price. You can lower the price to $5. Nobody's buying it because it's a pain in the ass. How do I charge it? It's going to catch on fire. Where do I even find charging stations? So let's say I had an electric car now. I'm in my apartment. I'm in for the night teaching class. How do I charge my car? Oh, with my electricity and run up my electric bill. And it's going to take how long? And how do I get the cord? Oh, I got to leave my door open. So it's going to take me 8 hours to charge my car for 3 hours. Sounds good to me. And we know batteries, the more you use them, then 3 hours goes to 2 hours, goes to 1 hour, like in your cell phone. So pretty soon you'll charge it. It'll take you 8 hours to charge it. It'll be worth an hour. You drive to the grocery store, you come home, well, I need to charge my car again. Yeah, or I could fill it with this thing called gas, and it's good for 10 days. Amazing. Ford, $14. Chevy, $39. How the hell Tesla, $300 a share? I got to tell you, I don't know how Ford's $14 a share. They're losing money because they've stopped making gas-powered cars. And I don't know how GM's 39. So what you have is high interest rates. Why the fuck would you be buying a car or a house now into this high interest rate? It's not caused because of the Fed, it's because of the inflation. They printed the money to nothing. So if I want to lend you money, so you want to buy a $30,000 Ford, I'm going to charge you 15% interest because you're going to pay me back in inflated dollars that aren't worth as much as the 30 I gave you. So if you give me back 35 inflated dollars, I only got 25 back. So the only way I can get back the 35 is to charge you 15% interest because the dollar's going to zero. But the problem you have is I'd rather buy gold. I don't want to loan you the money. Why would I loan you the money and worry about it and worry about the inflation when I can buy gold and I don't have to worry about anything? That's what I would do if I was a bank. It'd all be in gold. And I'd just be sitting there, watching football games all day going, I don't care if we have a customer or not. We don't need one. We'll just wait for gold to go up. So I don't get GM at 39. It's not a good run company. Ford, it's a horrible run company, just like the Lions. It's run the same way. I worked there for a little bit. Tesla at 300 a share. I'd be shorting that. That's the big short, right? So if I'm Batman in that movie and I'm looking at Tesla's stock and I go, wait a minute, there's prices just gone down like thousands and thousands of dollars. They're going to have no profit. There's no demand for electric vehicles. Hey, okay, everybody, let's short Tesla at $300. Now we're going to fight their stock going up for no reason because people are dumping money into their stock who don't know what they're doing, aka the government, the Fed. So it's like Apple. It should never be that high. Tesla shouldn't be that high. I was watching riding the bike at the club, and Tesla and Twitter's lost $20 billion. So this idiot lost $20 billion on Twitter. And so now he's running Tesla and people have confidence in him. I don't like Elon Musk. I think guy's just a weird guy. I don't know. I don't think he's anything from a finance standpoint. I wouldn't give him a fucking dime. No. We're buying gold. Sorry, guy. All right, let's go to the next little news tidbit. Single-family home starts fell 7% amid high rates and high material costs. Home starts. Well, I don't know about why home starts are falling. It's probably the same. See, this is what should be happening in the car market. It's really expensive because the wood's expensive because all these fucking fires in Canada and California are done on purpose. And so with the high interest rates, it's a double whammy. The interest rates are part of the purchase. So if it's a $300,000 house, you don't divide it by 30, that's a 0%. But at 7%, it's almost a $400,000 house for 30 years. Well, people can't afford it. The inflation's killing you all over the place. Probably not going to buy a new house. So why would I start a house if there's no buyers there? Again, they get Say's law. The housing market gets Say's law. The electric vehicle market doesn't. They don't get there's no demand, and they're producing something there's no demand for. The housing sees this and goes, well, fuck, I'm not even going to make the house because there's no buyers for it. Part of the reason is people who own the house already, who are in the house at 3%. So I got a friend in Alabama. He paid $200,000 for his house. Let's say 10 years ago, it's worth $400,000, but his interest rate's 2% or something. So why would he sell it for $400,000, but then he's got to go buy another $400,000 house at 7%? His payments just doubled. All his profit just went down. This is why I had a problem with the Canadian guy. He sells it. He bought his house for $250,000, sells it for $5,000, buys another one for 7 at a much higher interest rate and puts $400,000 down that he's going to lose because he won't be able to sell it because of the high interest rates. Nobody can afford it. And he could have had 400,000 in gold where he'd make a fortune on. So he's choosing the wrong asset to buy. That's why you buy gold, because gold, hasn't gone up yet. It's going to go through the roof thanks to our Chinese and Russian BRICS people. Right now, the demand for gold's through the roof, plus the inflation here and everything going down. And if you notice the government trying to say, we've solved inflation, it's down. Bullshit, you've solved it. It's still 15%. They're out of their mind. 3% inflation. Then if you read the small print, well, that's just on this little thing. It's really 7 is what I read, but it's of course 15 when you include food. Not only that, but you can't lower inflation raising interest rates at 0.5%. You've printed the money. So how are you going to get the money from here back into the whole kit and caboodle? So you've blown it up. It used to be like this. It used to be full. I don't have enough hands for this, but so it used to be this whole big dollar. And we've slowly inflated it to this. How are you going to get it back? How are you going to put it Humpty Dumpty? How are you going to put, maybe that's what Humpty Dumpty, the rhyme means. How are you going to put this back together? You can't. It's gone. It broke. All you're left with is this, and this is going to this, and this is eventually going to that. There's nothing you can do. Your only out is gold. That's the only out you can have to stop inflation, is to back the dollar by gold. But since the U.S. has this much gold, and the Canadians and the UK and most of the Western Europeans have this much gold, how the fuck are you going to do that? And here's the Chinese and the Russians. We got all the gold. Fuck you. Since you want to do war with us and you want to knock us out of SWIFT, we're going to say, fuck you. And that's what they're doing. But if you understand that's what they're doing, well, I think Tesla was $300 a share. I think it lost $30 today. But think of the fast as health reasons. It's like when I eat my dark chocolate, I'm not thinking it's a Kit Kat or Oreos or M&Ms. I'm doing it for health. Cinnamon is eat your cinnamon. Go get your cinnamon. You can get the sticks or the powder, either one. See, once you start using that, you won't use sugar, and you got to get off of sugar. But it's not a correction. It's being manipulated, just like gold. So I don't like oatmeal because it's carbs. I don't eat cereal because they're carbs and it's all sugar. So I stay away from that kind of stuff. Just eat your avocado. All right, what is this one? So here's Tesla. Investors have pushed its market value up by $550 billion this year, shrugging off shrinking profit margins, which is what I'm telling you, as price cuts drive sales. Second quarter results may force a rethink. So is exactly what I'm saying. The value of the stock's going up, but wait a minute. They lower the prices means if this costs me $10 and I sell it for $20, I make 100%. But if I sell it for $9 and it costs me $10, how much did I make? Well, I sold 1 million of them, but I lost $1 for every one. Is that a good stock to be in? The Bellagio stock, when they're losing money on every cup they sell, or my Canadian club for Bobby? So if this cost me $40 a bottle and I got to sell it at 35 to make sales because people can't afford 50, am I really making money when I'm selling it at a loss? So that's my point. So Tesla has lowered their price so much, they're probably selling it at a loss. So sales are up, all 11,000 of them, and 99% of them are in China. And who knows what the fuck's going on in China. I trust China as far as I could throw them. All right, let's see. That's all I got. Okay. So I was reading in the beginning, Bobby, Forbes, the definition of inflation. Inflation is caused by the gradual increase in prices in goods and services throughout the economy. I saw that. I nearly threw up. This is Forbes. They don't even know what inflation is. It's got nothing to do with prices. It's about fucking the money supply. And yet here's Forbes and CNBC. Oh, prices are up. Oh, prices are down. Inflation's down. The fuck you talking about? They printed $20 trillion. They keep printing Social Security and welfare and Medicare. All that shit is printed money. They give money to the Ukraine. It's more inflation. We've canceled student debt. That's more inflation. So what the fuck are these idiots talking about? It's just embarrassing that nobody understands what the fuck they're talking about. The loss, the purchasing power of the dollar, which is caused by inflation, which is too many. So the more you print, the less it's worth, is the reason that prices go up, provided Say's law allows that. Provided you can raise the price. Can I raise the price to 100 a bottle? No. The market says, fuck you, you can't. You can only sell this for 50. Yeah, but there's inflation, so my costs have went up. But that doesn't mean the price goes up, because if the market doesn't allow this to go to 100, guess what? You're not selling it at 100. It's just going to sit on the shelf and nobody will buy it because they're saying it's too expensive. Like I told the guy at the restaurant, you make those ribs $45 for a slab, you might as well close your doors because ain't nobody going to pay $45 a slab for a slab of ribs. And he's been smart so far. He's kept the bit 27, 28. And so I said good boy to him. But otherwise, you cannot, it's not prices, it's the dollar. Because the market controls the prices. That's why I have a hard time with deflation. The market controls the price. So everybody's worried about deflation. Oh, my house went down. Your house went down because interest rates go up, because it's price plus interest rates is the price of your house. So if interest rates go up to 10%, and you got a $500,000 house, it's now an $800,000 house. And if the market's $400,000, you're fucked. You got to lower your price to $300,000 plus that 10% the interest rate's going to tack on to get to your $500,000. That's why it comes down. But these idiots don't understand that. Oh, it's deflation. Look at prices are going down. Do you know why prices are going down, morons? No, they have no clue, or they don't say, which means they don't know. Because if you know, you say. So this is the problem. As prices go up, will the market allow it? And if all our costs are going up, gas, food, heat, electric, all I know is Andrew McGuire keeps bitching about his electric bill on his show. I have to pay 500 pounds for electricity. And, I'm like, cash some gold then, Andrew. So Jenna's coming back from Berlin today, where she's trying to. She's had a hard time. She went to get her train ticket to come back, and it was sold out. So she's taking a 20-hour bus to Kiev. I says, what happened? She says, I had bought the ticket, but it was sold out. They wouldn't give me a refund. Then she says, it was the only thing available because all the kids are off for school. Of which case I said, why didn't you buy the tickets a week ago? That I would have done. Not, she probably waited until this morning, went to buy a ticket, and then realized they were sold out. Yeah, Mark made a little correction. What do you think about oatmeal? Okay, so I'm caught up with you, Bobby. So you got to understand, when they inflate, if they raise the interest rates, makes things cost more, mostly houses and cars. So they'll say, look at the deflation. The housing have come down. The used cars come down. Well, that's because the interest rates jack up the price. And if you can't lower the interest rate because the loaner doesn't want, he needs to get his money back, that's going to be inflated. So he sits there and takes the money. And that's really the key to it. So you got to lower the price. So the car has to go from 30 to 20 because you're tacking on 7% onto it, which is going to make it $800, $900 a month payments, which nobody can afford. So the car dealer sits there, and these cars are stacking up because of the interest rates, which is due to the inflation, which is due to the fucking government printing money, aka JP Morgan, which blows up the money supply. It makes it go to zero. Hence, I'm yelling at you to buy gold and silver. Because like the Montana card, so the Rice card's 133, the Montana card's 100 and 100 and a quarter, and people don't think gold's value, they think gold's value is 2,000. Would you rather have a Montana rookie card or gold? I don't know how else to explain it. It's things cost $100,000. Montana rookie card, Rice's rookie card, Jim Brown, Walter Payton's, all these cards over $100,000. There's Jordan cards. Forget about Babe Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio. Those cards you can't even find and touch. And then if you just keep recent, Tom Brady, I got an $80,000 Brady card. So I got to get it created. I know. I'm a little disappointed. My Bobby and Barry cards just don't do anything. It's very disappointing. But I mean, if you pay that much for cards, you're telling me you're not going to pay that for gold? And the cards they're more collectibles. And from now on, we're not stackers of gold and silver. We are collectors of gold and silver. I want to make that very clear. I hate that stacking shot. It just sounds really weird. I'm not a stacker. What is a stacker? What the fuck is that? No, I'm a collector, and I collect gold. And as much as still gold and silver as I can collect, I'm collecting it. It's just not Montana and Mantle and Mays and Hank Aaron. It's instead of getting different players, we're buying gold from different countries. The ruble, the panda, the U.S., the Canadian, the Philharmonic. That's how we collect. That's how we differentiate and diversify. We're diversifying. I got U.S. and I got Canadian and I got Cougaran. That's how I diversify my portfolio. And then these idiots will say have 5% in gold. Where the rest of your money? In fucking stocks in the bank and CDs? This is where and bonds. You're gonna go broke. You've got to get off the Titanic. You've got to get out of this. Because when this goes to zero, all those go to zero. You don't understand. And gold and silver, why would you not have 95% of your money in gold and silver? What else? What's a better investment? You have zero risk. You can't get attacked on Wall Street for it. If that guy comes to me, I'm saying, whatever fella, buy 60,000 in gold, and he's buying me a nice dinner in 2 years because I saved his life. That's there's no risk. You're never going to have gold's at zero now, or you know what? The people, the real estate trust, the guys aren't paying the mortgage off because it was bought. It was a lot of people who had no credit, and now they're not working. They can't afford to pay their mortgage, so therefore there's a real estate trust, which was backed by all these mortgages. They're not paying, so it's worthless now. Sorry, but they're worth zero. You'll never hear that in gold, right? Never. And your gold's going to go up to at least the Montana card once it's released from its prison of JP Morgan. And it's just the whole US dollar's collapsing anyway. So people will start running to gold now. But I mean, you're saying Tesla's at $300 a fucking share? For what? They're cutting their price on cars. They can't sell them. Now, in my mind, you buy stocks because it's going up, right? You're making more, you're getting more profit, there's less competition. That's not what you have. You got Ford, GM, and you got all the Chinese, and Tesla's lowering their price, and the interest rates are high. Who's got all this money for a Tesla? What's he selling them for? It was 40, 50 grand at 7-8%. Who's got money? And it's electric? Explain who's got money to buy. And then if I do have that money, I'm going to buy an electric? I don't think so. All right. Let's check gold out today. So silver got up to 25, sitting at 24.76 on the JP Morgan COMEX exchange. And gold's 1969. It got up to 1985. It didn't drop at 10. It dropped about 10.20. They delayed it for some reason, but, you know, it's irrelevant, 1969. If we look at our eBay, so here's our watch list. I like how it says almost gone. So here's a 1 ounce, 21.11, 21.06, Maple Leaf 2079. My Cougar Ann's at 2074. See, this is why I don't understand. If I go in the store, the Liberties, the Eagles 21.09, but the Maple Leafs are like $50 cheaper, and the Cougar Ann's about $10 cheaper than that. But yet they're all pretty much the same. It's 2074 and 2079, and that's 21.06. So it's only $30 different, which I still don't have any clue. It's an ounce of gold. Now we get into the interesting. Jim Brown, I have that card, probably a 9, 15.5. Joe, 99. The second year Joe is 865. I bought 5 of those for $5 in perfect condition, $5 a piece, because I could smell this coming. And then the other Jim Brown rookie at 119. So don't tell me these things aren't going to get going, because they will. Nothing. Baseball games are already on. Verlander won yesterday. Just bet Verlander, Scherzer, McCullough. And if they play each other, bet the under. See, Bobby, if I were you, I'd be playing on the Mets. I'd be in the lineup when Verlander and Scherzer pitch. And at least you know you're going to get a win. And, you walk away happy. I mean, I wouldn't play for these bad teams. Excuse me. So all right, this is for you, Bobby. I'm going to do 3 minutes of the doctor. Just for you. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, here it is.
Should go for a run today, but it looks like it could rain. Save on Epic Rain Jacket. Hello, health champions. Today I want to talk about cholesterol. With cholesterol in the last 50 years.
Just 3 minutes.
It's one of the greatest health disasters of all time. And there's this huge fear factor about cholesterol.
Sounds like you, Bobby.
People are changing their lifestyle and they're getting healthier. They're losing weight. They're feeling better. all their health markers are improving except one, their doctors still scare them into abandoning their
Sounds
healthy
familiar,
lifestyle
Bobby.
and reverting to a low-fat diet because one marker, LDL cholesterol, is too high in their opinion. And this is all because we have bought into the idea without any good evidence that LDL cholesterol is bad.
Eating my chicken salad.
What I want to help you with today is to make an informed decision by understanding the true factors and what's really going on. What we really want to get away from is the idea that if cholesterol is over 200, if your total is over 200, then you get this automatic prescription for a statin drug. Or if your LDL is over 100, that should be some magical number that now you get a statin drug. Do statin drugs lower cholesterol? Yes, absolutely they do. But we're going to talk about whether that is actually a good thing. We're going to answer what kind of cholesterol do they lower? Is that something we actually want to lower? We're going to ask about heart disease. Does it actually help lower heart disease? And the answer is there is no good evidence of that. Recent studies actually show the opposite, that higher cholesterol actually is associated with lower all-cause mortality and better cognitive function in your later years. Does it improve longevity? Does it help people live longer? And there is no good evidence to that either. What you do get for sure are side effects, and we're going to talk about that as well. So why then is there a standard prescription for a statin, even though there's no good evidence that it actually helps? Because there is something called evidence-based medicine. And the only evidence they're looking for is, does it lower cholesterol? Yes, absolutely. And there's the assumption that cholesterol causes heart disease, and therefore it must be a good thing to lower it, and that's a false assumption. The other reason is called standard of care, that a doctor, as long as he follows the standard of care, which is to prescribe a statin if your cholesterol is over 200, you can't get in trouble if you hurt patients as long as you follow the standard of care. The time you can get in trouble is if you step outside of the standard of care and something happens. We want to get away from the idea of high or low cholesterol, and we want to start thinking balanced or unbalanced, because 190 could be unhealthy and 350 could be healthy. Now, this is not to say that you should ignore your cholesterol numbers. They still give you good feedback. Higher isn't necessarily better, but higher isn't necessarily bad either. We have to understand when to pay some attention. What are the numbers to pay attention to? We'll go over that. One thing we want to understand is we want to start fighting. We want to start addressing the true cause instead of the rescue attempt. So what do I mean by that? If you come to a fire, then there is probably some people from the fire department there. Most of the time that you see a traffic accident or a fire, there will be a responder. There'll be an ambulance, there'll be a firefighter, and there's an association there. And that's just like we associate cholesterol with disease, cholesterol with damage, because cholesterol always shows up at the accident site, just like the first responders show up at the accident site. That does not imply causation. That does not make the fire department guilty of the fire. It does not make the cholesterol guilty of the damage. And if we start fighting cholesterol...
Couldn't say it better myself. Actually, I think I've said it to you guys. So that's like gold, right? That's inflation, and then gold shows up. Gold's not the reason you had inflation. Gold's what you do to save your ass. So Bobby watched that one, but that's like, don't worry about the number. And that's what I'm saying. Cholesterol is not bad for you. And the statin that they put you on is the worst thing you can have. That's what gives you the strokes and heart attacks and everything. So you don't want to take statins. They're just bullshit. And that's why if you just follow this and have, get on your 18-hour fast and don't eat your carbs and sugars, you won't need any of this shit. You'll let your body take care of itself and you're done. That's what I keep saying. It's just like money. They keep fucking printing it to zero. It's paper. It's bullshit. This is garbage. This is not real. This is the same as a Kleenex. This and this are the same fucking thing. Only this has a number on it and the government forces people to take it. But without that, my point is they can't fuck gold. But I was watching some videos yesterday where they're trying to control us, right? This whole Build-A-Bear type of families and these rich families and all these rich guys are trying to like come up with a way to control us. And we're all saying nobody fucks with us. Get out of our fucking lives, get out of our fucking ways and stop trying to control us because we don't want to be controlled. And that's why they don't want you in gold, because if you're in gold, you don't need these fucking idiots, the Bill Gates and the Buffets and the Zuckerbergs and the JP Morgans and all these other idiots. If you have gold, we just walk away and go, I got gold. I don't need you guys. I got real money. I don't have the paper shit. That's why, that's a big reason. If you're in gold, they can't control you. They can't tax you. They don't even know you have it. They can only tax you when you sell it. Well, yeah, if I trade it in for $50,000, yeah, okay, you can tax me maybe, unless I do it in Switzerland where you can't tax me because it's Switzerland. So that's probably the best reason to own gold, besides the dollar going to zero. Freedom, basically. And once the price goes to where the Chinese and Russians, what are they doing it? They want freedom from the dollar, right? They don't want to be sanctioned. China's ready to get sanctioned. They're all afraid of the sanction bullshit. They're like, fuck them. So all these BRICS countries are buying more and more gold because they want freedom away from the dollar. But since they don't trust the Russians or the Chinese, they're not going to buy rubles or yuan. So they need this currency backed by gold where it's kind of a neutral, right? It's not Russia's, it's not China's, it's backed by gold. Gold's the king, as it should be. And therefore it gives us the freedom. So if I'm Saudi Arabia, I don't give a fuck who has it. Just give me the money back by gold. Just give me the gold. And that's why all these really smart countries are owning gold. They don't want anything to do with the dollar because we're trying to control them. I don't get this control issue. So if I got $1 billion and I'm Warren Buffett, what the fuck do I want to control anybody for? I'm off on an island somewhere, relaxing and not giving I don't have a care in my life. Why am I Soros? I got to control because he's a Nazi and all these other idiots and Carl Schwab and they all want to control us. Why? Well, I know Soros because he's a Nazi, so he's carrying on Hitler's, world domination bullshit game. But that's really the problem. Kenzie Reeves, what does LYP mean? Lick your pussy, I assume. I hope you're well. Give me a call if you're real, which we're still debating that. So I watched this video yesterday on Hungary. This one here, and there's this new conservative Austrian. Sounds like me running Hungary. He doesn't. He must be an INFJ because he doesn't care. He's like laughing at it, going, "This is what we're doing, and we're gonna." And it's been very successful. The only thing I'm concerned about is they have a 20% inflation rate. So I'm wondering why they're not on the gold standard if he's that much of an Austrian economist or an Adam Smith. He should be on the gold standard. Now, here's the thing on Margaret Thatcher. It's 3 minutes, so it'll fit.
Applications are now open for the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Our lessons transcend the class.
We will give you a throwback clip, old school. Former Prime Minister of England, Margaret Thatcher, summarizing who the enemy actually is.
The essence of socialism is that you surrender quite a bit of power over your own life to the state. Well, we all do that to some extent, but of course it went much further. You pay very high taxes, and they wish to take even higher taxes because they think the politicians can spend money better than the people can spend it. The more you take away, the less there is for private industry, and that's where the creation of wealth comes. So you have to establish very clear limits on the role of government. And really, politicians, I think, should sometimes just be a little bit more modest about their abilities than they are. We can't run everything, and we shouldn't try.
Thatcher, though, you're going for attitudes. You're trying to change the way people think about their role in life. It's almost sometimes as though you think by your own resolve, you can somehow inspire people to be different. You're still inside, if I can suggest, a little of that very bright greengrocer's daughter who made herself a chemist, made herself a tax lawyer, made herself prime minister. Anybody can.
I don't really quite recognize what you're saying. I believe that very strongly.
She gave the liberal answer.
I believe that we were going towards a way of life in which people were constantly looking to the state to solve their problems and to do things for them. When the state does everything for you, it'll soon take everything from you. You will then have no basis for personal freedom, political freedom, nor economic freedom. I saw it going much too far, and I think it would have gone even further had I not won that 1979 election. Too far ever to pull it back.
It's brilliant, it's true, and it's actually quite chilling. As Joe Scarborough calls the people who fight the collusion between government and corporations fascists, that's the truth right there. That's the truth. The more that you ask the government.
All right, we wanted to hear Thatcher. So you can see where we agree with Margaret Thatcher. We don't like socialism because we can see. So the question they asked Margaret Thatcher, and she says, "What the fuck are you talking about?" is what I get a lot from the idiots in the pool and the communists and everybody else. When I'm at the bank and the guy starts bringing up elasticity and inelasticity, and I look at him like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That is not in our guy. That's not Adam Smith. It's not Say's Law. That's not Austrian economics. It's sort of like you're going to pay for gas at whatever price it is. I don't know if that's elastic or inelastic. I never can get that concept because it's too stupid to even try to understand. But basically, if you need something, you need electricity, you're going to pay for it, no matter what the price is. However, if you don't need something, like the steaks or the ribs or the chicken or the fish or other goods, we don't need Cheerios, you substitute. That's the concept that I go with. I don't care if gas is $10, maybe I buy a Harley because now I work there. Maybe I get on my bike. Maybe I don't drive as much. I know I do that when things are very expensive. I won't. Like Jenna wanted me to go to Berlin and meet her there. And so she's there with Natasha, who I met in Barcelona, who's her best friend from the Ukraine. So she moves to Berlin. And so now Jenna wants to go visit her. And they, of course, invite me. Somebody's got to pay for the meals, right? And they invite me to come for a week or two. And I look at the prices on the planes. It's $2,000 And that's, it's not like I can just like in Europe, if I'm in Barcelona and they want me to go to Berlin, I can probably the next day, and that's what I did for Jenna. I got her a $300 flight from Barcelona to Poland, and then she trained back to Ukraine. And that was like on a Sunday night to get her a Monday flight. But I can't do that here. It was a $2,000 flight, and I don't even know if I could get the next day. When I looked for the next weekend, it was $2,000. I ain't spending $2,000 to go to Berlin, which I really don't want to go to. What do you endorse it? Well, Hitler murdered a bunch of people here. Don't you want to come and see that? So I just didn't. I have no. Let me go to Switzerland. I'll go to Portugal. I'll go to the Ukraine. Oh, they bombed Odessa today, which made me sad. That's a beautiful city. So it's kind of like, Amsterdam, whatever. I'll go there. I don't have any desire to go to Berlin. I've been to Vienna. That was okay. It wasn't too Nazi-ist, but I'm not going to Germany. I only go to stop in Frankfurt to go to the Ukraine or to go to Spain or wherever. But that's what she wanted. But my point is, when things get too expensive, you just don't buy them. But that's what Margaret Thatcher's saying is, with socialism and communism, you pay these high taxes, they fuck your dollars up. So in our communist US that we are in right now, they believe that they're just going to print it because they know more than us. I don't know anything. They know more. So they know if we keep printing the dollar, it'll be fine. And you know what? If we do have inflation, we'll just raise interest rates a little bit. That'll cure it. This is the belief of morons, right? So that's what we have. And I got to keep being Margaret Thatcher going, no. You can't keep printing and go buy gold and silver. This is our defense, right? So if we're playing chess, this is our defense. You're trying to take our queen, we'll buy gold and silver. You're trying to take my freedom, I'm going to buy gold and silver. You're going to keep printing the dollar, I'm getting out of the dollar. I don't want to play anymore the dollar. I'm going to play gold and silver. I'm going to buy a Montana card. I'm going to buy the Rice card. I'm going to buy the Rolex, but I'm not going to play paper dollars because it's going to zero. Like every fucking paper dollar in the history of life has all gone to zero. It must be backed by gold and silver to have any chance of keeping a value. But if you're not going to back it by anything, you have zero chance. You have no chance of winning. Bobby, Amsterdam, Kenzie. I got Tesla. I feel sorry for you. Bobby, Amsterdam. Yeah, it's good. Kenzie said she bought Tesla. Kenzie, did you buy metal? Well, I think Kenzie's probably a Bitcoiner. I told her I have gold and silver, but I don't think she listens. And then how often do you have, how long does it take you, Kenzie, to fill up your car with electricity? How many hours does it take? And then does it catch on fire because the battery gets too hot? Why did you buy Tesla? Were you being a good liberal or what? Are you models like liberals, or do you not have any gold? Well, we'll see if Kensley responds. So what does LYP mean? Any Bobby, would you ever heard of that? LYP, last year's players. I have no idea. Well, it sounds like it. She's into the electric car and she's saying LYP. I don't know. Last year's something, I guess. I mean, it's harder to read than your stuff, Bobby. I don't know what LYP stands for. I love when people do that. They put in these acronyms that nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about, but they think we know what she's talking about. Yours are just misspelling, so I can figure out what you're saying, Bobby. I don't know what LYP. Why have you ever heard of LYP? Why would anybody know what LYP is? By the way, I just saw an article saying that High Freeze was taking highly on his new Auburn team. Oh, talking highly. Oh, Hugh Freeze. See there, I figure you out, Bobby. Well, what do you want him to do? Say we suck because we're Auburn and we don't have any players? The team you're not going to hear is Alabama sucks this year, but you're not going to hear that. Only by me. LSU could bury Alabama this year. I know that would make you feel good, Bobby. They don't have a quarterback, and LSU always has fast guys on defense that get to the quarterback. Even with Joe Burrow, they had a great defense. LSU's got to get past Florida State in the first game. Good luck there. That's going to be a good game. I don't know if they can beat my Georgia team. I don't love their quarterback. And Georgia supposedly has a good quarterback, but Georgia has the best player in college football, Brock Bowers. Their tight end. He's kind of a tight end. He's kind of like he's not a Kelsey or a Kittle. He's more like the guy in Atlanta or the guy in San Francisco, like Debo Samuel. Isn't he he runs a lot, but he's the receiver? Brock Bowers is really fast. He's not a tight end. And in the pros, he probably won't play tight end. No, why Ohio State? They don't have a defense. Well, I know you like them over Florida State. I'm just taking the dog. I probably won't even bet the game because it's not a good game to bet. The better game to bet is USC over Nevada by 75 points. See, everybody tries to bet the hard games and misses the easy games. UCLA, Coastal Carolina, bet it over. Coastal Carolina's got McCall. They're going to score a lot. Van Dyke's going to light it up on the air raid offense against Miami of Ohio. New Mexico State's going to kill UMass and then the Army team. So there's a lot of better bets. So when you're looking at your bets, you got to look at risk and reward. You got a high risk in the LSU game. Now, if you were teasing, if they were the dog and you had 8.5 with LSU, you have less risk. But you're taking the favorite in a game that's dead even. And it's the risk is very high for you. But if you looked at the risk on taking Army or taking Utah, you have far less risk. And that's what I try to point you to. Why pay, and how much you're going to bet on LSU? You can't bet a lot on it. It's a very tough game where you can bet a ton on New Mexico State, Army, Utah. I mean, those are all very strong. The USC over Nevada, USC week 1, strong over. So you can definitely do that. Georgia will be tough, but don't think they play them unless it's SEC title game. Yeah, that's true. But so it'll be Georgia LSU. They got to play then. Which Army game? The week 1 Army's got somebody. Let me see. They got somebody weak. We talked about it. The Army, Louisiana Monroe. Bobby, we could beat Louisiana Monroe. Me, you, and Nick, we could play with 3 guys and beat Louisiana Monroe. Don't you listen? I told you. Utah's a revenge game in the mountains, and Florida doesn't have a quarterback. We got Cam Rising back. Utah's going to blow them out. Rising does not choke. Rising beat USC twice, so don't give me the choke. The choke is your Williams on USC, who choked twice against Rising. And then he lost to my Tulane team in the bowl game when USC was trying. Army's got the best coach in the league. He got hurt in the third quarter, Bobby. He didn't choke. They were winning, and then he gets hurt. He hurt his knee. Oh, you're going to use excuses with Caleb. USC's a system. All the receivers run, and then the running back, the quarterback runs behind them. And they stretch the defense like you did at Oklahoma. How's Kyler Murray doing in the pros? Well, Rising is a stud. I mean, there's very little. I'm very sold on Rising. I think Van Dyke has a big year. The guy to watch, Bobby, is the guy at Arkansas, KJ Jefferson. He's outstanding, and he's only like the professor understands how good he is. The kid on Tulane and the kid at Frank Harris at UTSA. You watch him the first week against against Houston against UTSA, and I get UTSA as a dog. Fuck that. They're going to win. He's really good, Frank Harris. He might have been, but with the stupid COVID 6-year shit, that's why Penix is playing and Bo Nix and all these guys are still playing. It's like, oh, it's a COVID year. So he's still out there. So is Frank Harris. But I love that. He's a good quarterback because he runs athletically enough, but he's going to pass. But he's a really good passer, but he gets you points. Well, look at that A&M game last year. He did a great move, and he won us the game. I had Arkansas +8 against A&M. They're down, and he goes and runs in for a touchdown with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game to get me the W. Bo Nix, Penix was at Indiana for 3 years. So because of COVID, a lot of these players are 6 years. But yeah, the kid's he's got a whole career. He's been there 10 years. Now, the other team you're not mentioning, which you should, is Notre Dame. Because Hartman's a great quarterback. He's as good as Rising. He's better than Caleb Williams. I hate to break it to you. So I really like Notre Dame this year with Hartman. I don't know why he didn't just go to the pros. And I don't know why the pros are going to look at Hartman and not make him the number one pick or Rising. It's just, you shake your head. No, let's get the guy from Ohio State, and we'll get the Richardson from Florida and miss all the good quarterbacks. See, I would rather have Jefferson from Arkansas by a mile over Richardson from Florida. Agreed? I mean, it's a no-brainer. So why would I draft Richardson last year? Now, here's the problem. Indiana won't win a game. They'll have a chance to get Jefferson or Rising or Hartman or Van Dyke, and they won't get any of them because they got Richardson. This is where it's incomprehensible to me how you can sit there and look at Richardson and not laugh and then pass on Williams and Hartman and Van Dyke and Jefferson and Frank Harris. How do you pass on guys that are 10 times better than Richardson? It's unbelievably how stupid these GMs are in football. I mean, I can't, I don't understand. He's from Wake Forest. He threw like 40 touchdowns and 3 picks on Wake Forest, and they played Clemson 51-45. That's how good he is, because Clemson still had a defense. Wake just never has an offense, but he really lit it up last year. Where's my guy? If I go to Notre Dame, it's so hard to find the independents in here. Here's Arkansas, Jefferson, 204 for 300, 2,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 picks, and he wasn't the leading rusher, but he had another 10 or 11 touchdowns in the SEC. Just outstanding. LSU, you got Florida State, then Grambling, Old Mississippi State. Now you got Arkansas. Now that's going to be a good game. September 23rd, you're at home against Arkansas. Jefferson against Daniels. Jefferson's the better quarterback. Look for this to be really high scoring. Then you got Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn. Oh, now you got the Army. That's going to be your toughest test is the Army. Right before Alabama. So you got to bye before Alabama. I love that. And then Florida, who sucks, Georgia State, and Texas A&M. So you got 2 hard games. Well, 3. You got Arkansas, Army, and Alabama to get by. No Georgia. Where is my Notre Dame? Hell, let's just assume it's in the maybe it's in alphabetical order. The Big Ten. Come on, motherfuckers. Conference USA. Where the fuck is it? Here, Army. Okay, Notre Dame. Where's Hartman? He's not at Notre Dame. I didn't think he was at Wake Forest. Tyler Bucknard. I mean, he's not even on the team anymore. Let's see if they say anything. After 5 years of unprecedented production at Wake Forest, Hartman brings his 12,900 passing yards and 110 touchdowns to an offense poised for a breakdown. He's mature and he can handle success and failure. And he's a good quarterback. Sam Hartman is a great quarterback. He's capable of the job. Yeah. I already know that. So let's go to Wake Forest. This would be ACC. The Wakers. But I don't think he's there because he's not a returner. Yeah, it doesn't. It's so stupid. It doesn't have them. It has returning players, but since he transferred, it's not there. But anyway, he's the real deal. He should be the number 1 drafted quarterback next year, especially being on Notre Dame. I'm just so happy he didn't go to Alabama or Ohio State. What would Ohio State do with a regular quarterback? They couldn't handle Joe Burrow. They let Joe Burrow go. You're like, oh, God, they weren't smart enough. You have Joe Burrow, and you're not smart enough to play him. He should have been starting as a freshman. You don't start him, and then he transfers to LSU for 2 years. What the fuck's wrong with Ohio State when you got a player like Joe fucking Burrow? It's like Joe Montana, and you're not. he doesn't run. We must have a running quarterback. We don't know what to do with a great pocket passer. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. This is the problem with Ohio State, and this is why I bitch about their quarterbacks never doing anything in the pros. You had Joe Burrow, and you didn't know what to do with them. This is Ohio State's problem. So anyway, yes, Hartman is a stud. It's going to be very high scoring all the way. And I don't know. Clemson, I don't know, with their quarterback. He sucked. Boogly at Oregon State. He'll do good here. He couldn't do anything at Clemson, but at Oregon State, he'll light it up. I don't know about that. Good luck with them there. But that's the whole thing about life. You got to be careful what you hear and who says it and do you trust it or not. So these morons don't even know what inflation is. Forbes, it's prices. Well, you going to listen to that? See, you have to understand it, and then you can tune it out. I read that. I laughed. I said, this is ridiculous. This isn't what inflation is. But if somebody else reads it and they go, oh, fuck, it's prices. Oh, prices, everything's okay because prices are under control. I'm still waiting for the banks to collapse and the stock market to collapse, which is going to happen soon. But what are you reading? Oh, no, the stock market's fine. It's going to go up. It's going to go up. Why is it going to go up? Is the economy good? Well, if you read what, if you smell what the Rock's cooking, the stock market's going to go, it'll just keep going up and up and up. Earnings will go up. Well, what about the high interest rates and the high inflation? Don't higher prices slow the economy? And how can that be good for the stock market? Things are costing more. You're buying less. How is that good for the stock market? I mean, it just blows my mind how stupid these guys are. And if anybody listens to them, you get the assault on, you're the assault on Wall Street guy. That's all I can say. If you listen and believe that, then you don't understand what costs are. You don't understand what interest is. You don't understand Say's law. You don't understand anything that you need to understand about Austrian economics, which is the only economics to use. Not Keynesian, not the deflation, not the MMT boys. They're all out of their fucking minds, right? They don't know what they're talking about, but they sound like they do. And that's really the problem with it is. So you start listening and you believe them. So you're listening to the wrong person because they can't explain it. You should only, now tomorrow, Andrew McGuire's on. I hope he doesn't have a fucking guest. If he does, look at my comment, which will say, you're a fucking idiot. Stop having fucking guests on. And to Bobby say, I gotta write these idiots or call them and say, I want to be on. I'm tired of this bullshit already. You have these idiot guests on, and then because you're Andrew McGuire, we might listen to the guest because we trust you, and that's the part he doesn't get. I haven't seen Alligator on for a while, and Aegon, he writes for Matterhorn or something. I got to start looking for that. But you've got to be careful. You have to understand it. You have to know what is just like craps. You got to know it's sevens out. The point's 8. He throws a 10. He throws a 4. He throws a 6. But you got to know the 7 is coming and it's going to 7 out as it always does. And the odds are always in favor of the 7. Well, you have to understand that playing craps. So some idiot writes a book, How to Win at Craps. What does he teach you? The 7 out. I mean, that's the whole game. Is there's more 7s than any other number, and therefore, when it comes up, you lose, unless you're playing the don't. But who plays the don't? Because you only win one bet, so most people play it. And the only way to win at craps is if you hit a few numbers to pull everything down. So if I play the 9 and the 5, 9. I hit the 5. The point's 8. I hit the 9. I hit the 5. I hit the 9. I hit the 5. At that point, I got to pull my money out and say, thank you very much. Here comes the 7. Okay, now we'll play the next roll. That's the only way to play craps. You've got to pull your money down. That's the way to play anything. Stocks, football betting, poker. You get up and you take the money. It's the only way to win. If you don't take the money and you leave it out there, eventually you lose the money. And then what's the point of playing? Why are you playing? And that's what I'm trying to explain with Bobby and LSU. Be careful. They're playing Florida State's a good fucking team. You're ignoring that. Your bias is LSU. Oh, we're going to win. And you're missing the point of how good Florida State is, that they're the dog. And you can get 8 points with a very strong team. That's the part you're missing. That's what creates a higher risk for you than playing the fucking Army in New Mexico State, Utah, USC over, and on and on and on. That's what I'm trying to warn you about. The risk you're taking is huge because not only you think they're going to win, but they're the favorite. So if you tease them, you only get 3.5 points. Good luck with that. Now, Florida State and 8.5. Yeah, I'm probably going to win that game 9 out of 10 times. You might win it 5 out of 10. Your risk is much higher than mine because I've been around a long enough time since the 70s to know when two good teams play each other, you tease the dog. Look at my first teaser bet, 77, Joe Montana against Earl Campbell, Notre Dame and Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Who was favored? Texas. 2 or 3 point favorite. Notre Dame and 9 is an easy win. It went by 30 points. See, so if you just take the guesswork out of it, tease the dog, it's an even game, then you win. I mean, that's because you don't really know who's going to win that one. We know Army's going to win, and we know Utah is going to win. We know USC is going to beat Nevada and San Jose State. We know that, but we don't know who's going to win LSU. So why do you fuck around with that game? Now, you're an LSU guy, so I get that. And all I'm saying is you make your big bets on New Mexico State and Army and Utah, USC. But if you got to bet that game, it's 1/10 of your bankroll. So if you're betting 10% on the Army New Mexico State teaser, maybe it's $1,000. I'd be betting 100 on LSU just because you want to root for them. That's what I'm trying to say is be careful on. That's why we bet different amounts, and that's why when it's A versus A, the last thing you want to do is play the favorite. You want to play the dog. I think the chances of Florida State and 8.5 covering are like 90%. Now that's just assuming I got a good quarterback, a good defense, good coach, neutral field, and I don't like LSU's quarterback. So anyway, just food for thought. You got to think it all out. Just like Attack on Wall Street. Why would you be in real estate trust? I'm going to make 8%. How much are you going to make in gold? Oh, 30%, no risk. That's the thing people don't understand about gold. There's no risk. You have the gold. You have it in your hand. Nobody can take it away. Nobody can say it's worthless. Nobody can say it's worth zero. It's impossible. It's never been worth zero before the Romans. And the Romans had it. It was never worth zero. And they collapsed. And it still wasn't worth zero. Gold had value till the Romans got rid of it. That's what happened. They got rid of it. It didn't go to zero. And the Germans picked it up and they invaded Rome. And that was the end of the Roman Empire because they didn't have whoever has the gold wins. I am going to bet all my silver on LSU week. Yeah, I know, Bobby. And which bookie's going to take it? I wonder if we could go to like Caesars with 2 ounces of silver and bet a game. They'd be too stupid to take the silver. Of course, they wouldn't value it right. Okay, that's $50. No, honey, it's $4,000. I understand, but I know it's a joke. Well, that's why I do this, because I've done it my whole life. And I really, what I see in the politics and in the news just pisses me off. they don't explain it, and people are just misled all the time. So really, that's why I'm doing so much of economics and gold and even football. I'm really trying to teach you, right? I sell my picks because that's fun, but I'm trying to teach you how to think. So when you bet, why do I get out of the dollar? What is inflation? So you understand it. And now you can, with a clear mind, go, well, I know inflation's, they're ruining the dollar. By going to gold and silver, I have no risk. That's a simple thing. And then when you tell your family and friends, when you call up Barry and say, Barry, are you buying gold and silver? And he says, no. When you're done laughing at him, go, why not? And then you can explain it to him. And or if it's McGuire and you don't like him, you can say, you don't want to buy gold and silver, McGuire. But that's I'm trying to get everybody to a level where they understand it, and I think everybody does, and that's why I repeat it, because it's so much in the news now, the inflation, then all these high interest rates from the inflation. And that anytime it costs more, it just makes sense. If apples cost $10 a pound, how much are you going to buy? You won't. You'll buy oranges or whatever. Like, you'll always go to the cheaper good, unless it's like, okay, I really, I'll buy like my ribs. Okay, I'll buy it once, every 3 months. That's how I look at I really want it, but now it's down to $12. So now I can go maybe once a month when I get paid and buy it. So talking about exchange rates here, poor Jenna, she borrowed from her son and borrowed from her friend. She says that, and I borrowed 7,000 hryvnia. And you think that's a lot of money. And then you do the foreign exchange, US dollar to hryvnia, it's at $37. So it turns out where it's $200. It's not even $200, 7,000 hryvnia. And I explained to her, you're going to be one rich girl, because once gold and silver goes up, it's going to, 40, 50,000 for the gold and 3, 4, 5,000 for the silver. You're sitting on at least 10 ounces of silver and 2 ounces of gold, which is what I gave her. She's sitting on that and she doesn't understand what it's going to buy. And that's in US. Well, in Ukrainian money, it's worth a lot, but I'm going to have her go to Switzerland and cash it in when she's ready to cash it in. I don't trust the Ukrainian people, and the Russians. I don't want her anywhere near that. See, I can have her cash it in. Well, actually, Bobby, we can have Jenna cash in all our gold and silver. It doesn't work. She cashes it in, gets the money for us. Here's the money. We never sold it. We don't have to pay a dime in 1099. She doesn't have income. She wouldn't pay. She wouldn't file a tax return. There you go. Jenna or Irina can cash our gold and silver in. So Irina shows me the bear. The bear's still around. So a bear comes out of the woods with the 3 cubs in Romania, and I showed you that picture. I'll show you again. And it's wandering around the fucking, it's just wandering around the city. It's insane. So here's somebody's house. Here's a bear and 3 cubs. She says they're eating animals. So far, no people, but they're eating. So they go up to chickens and cows and they just start eating them because they're fucking bears. This is like 2-3 weeks it's going on. I'm like, what are they waiting for? Just fucking kill the bears already, or whatever, tranquilize them and throw them back in the woods. But how do you let 3 bears roam around the fucking neighborhood? Yeah, I was hitting golf balls and I hit the father and I hit the father bear, and that was the end of me, because I am not outrunning a bear. does she have a spot to sell it at in Ukraine? And we're going to Switzerland. She probably does. I remember buying her a gold bracelet when I first met her. So I'm sure there's jewelry stores, but I'm going to Switzerland. I'm going to go meet Egon and say, give me my money, Egon. I can't trust these Ukrainians. I mean, they're all a bunch of crooks, right? How about we give her all our medals to cause out and sue, instead spends it all on liquor store? No, because I'll be with her. I won't let her. No. We're going to the bank and put it in her name. Give me the money. Who bears are those? Those are in Romania. Irina had the baby, and she's showing me that she got alert that there's bears in the neighborhood. So imagine in your neighborhood, there's a fucking bear and her 3 cubs walking around your neighborhood, and you ain't outrunning the bear. If the bear sees you, you're dead. You cannot run, and they'll just claw you, one claw, and you're fucked. So this is Romania, not in Bucharest. She lives in a small little city. She showed me that picture, and I said, have they caught him yet? And she says, no. And I says, well, keep the baby out of, because she still has to go to the car, to go to the grocery store or whatever, go to the bank. And she says, no, they're still out there. I don't think they're that close to her, but they are saying that. So there's a lot of farmers, right? So you're listening to Bill Gates, and we're going to farm, and all of a sudden 3 bears come. Say goodbye to your farm, because they're going to eat all the animals because they're hungry. She'll say that she couldn't cash it out because she had to go walk her dog. I'm not going to let her do that. No, you got to understand. We're flying to Switzerland to meet her, Bobby, and she'll go in with Egon, and she'll get the money and give us the money. That's how it'll work. And we won't need much, maybe an ounce or 2. That's what I was talking to Luke, the Philadelphia guy who kept knowing you. I felt a little bad, like I didn't want to, interfere. Because I'll say, oh, Bobby Bonilla's here. And then the guy gets all excited. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I thought you wouldn't mind knowing you. Anyway, so he made a comment. I just lost my train of thought, but where was I? Anyway, God, I just lost the train. Yeah, Luke Bushwalker, the guy from Philadelphia Airport. So he asked me about gold. He says, will it go down to like $10? And I said, no, it goes to 0. It goes out because it's about the 60-year-old girl at the bar. So here's Miss Kenzie, nice and pretty, nice and young. People want her. She turned 60. She's now fat and ugly. Nobody wants her. That's the U.S. dollar. Was pretty. Now it's ugly, and nobody wants the U.S. dollar. And at that point, it goes to 0. It doesn't go to 10. It goes because then nobody wants it. And the gold-backed BRICS currency is a lot more the flavor of the month, more in demand. So you're going, fuck yeah, I'd rather have the gold, because that's when all of a sudden people start getting smart, going, oh yeah, maybe gold is better than the dollar. Like they start waking up from the dreamland, from the matrix that everybody's in. I actually met the Luke from Bushwalkers from WWF. He was at a restaurant near Hogan's in Clearwater. Okay. What did I hear about Tampa? Are you having fires or crime or something in Tampa? I know you got a lot of strip clubs there. I was watching that. So, but there was something going on in Tampa. I don't know if it was fires, crimes, or something. Anyway, I just hope you're safe. I got a friend in Orlando. But the insurance companies are starting to have problems because of these solar roofs that they got, and they're losing their ass on all these wildfires. So the insurance companies are losing; they don't want to pay. Then you got all this smoke. Canada, like this guy's going to be in for a big problem. Our guy from Canada who bought the $700,000 house. How much you think his insurance is going to cost him when he's got all these forest fires burning around him? And they're liable, so all of a sudden his insurance is going to be more than his mortgage payment. His $300,000 mortgage payment. I don't understand anybody that listens to this class would be that stupid and not put the 400 grand in gold. I don't get it. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? How is he not getting that? If you gave me $500,000 today, I would have 400,000 in gold tomorrow. Put away. No brainer. We know it's going to go up. Even if nothing happens with Russia and China, the dollar's going to zero because we understand inflation is going to drive the dollar to zero. We get that. Anyway, you slice it. Gold's going up. It can't go down if I hold dollars. So if you gave me $500,000, if I held it in dollars, it would go to zero. I'd automatically lose. Maybe I go buy the Montana card and the Walter Payton rookie card and the Jerry Rice, and I get 500,000 in cards. I don't think they're going to lose their value. I don't think they're going to deflate, because if we have deflation during COVID, the prices all went up. The Jordan was a $30,000 rookie card. And then starting COVID, and then like 6 months into it, it was worth $1 million. I guess everybody woke up and everybody was at home and they're going, oh, but all of a sudden the Jordan card went way up. But I don't see those. I've seen Montana 100 grand for years, and the Rice actually went from 100 to 133. I showed you. So I don't know where this deflation, really what it is. It's prices going down, but in what? To me, it's going to be cars and houses, offset by the higher interest rates. This is not, if this goes down, this is because the market can't afford it. Maybe that's what they're talking about. People won't be able to afford things. So the deflation lowers the prices. It's beyond me, because it's not Austrian economics. I don't really give a fuck what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense to me anyway. There's no way that makes sense to me. So I'm not going to monkey around and like elastic and deflation. I would call it a depression or a recession instead of deflation. A recession is a slowing of the economy, which means you sell less. Well, that's, to me, what deflation means, is that the prices are going down. So you're going to sell less because the market says, I'm not paying for this and I don't have enough money, so I'm going to buy less or substitute. I mean, a lot of it's all the markets substituting goods and everything. So I don't really know what the fuck this deflation is. There's no such thing. It's either the market, Say's law, prices going down. It's the interest rates going up, lowering the houses, and that's the market. You inflate, you raise interest rates. The house that you bought for 500 grand, it's still worth 500 grand. But if you're trying to sell it, you can't, because now the interest rates make it a $700,000 house and it's only worth $5. But it's still worth $5, but the difference is now it's worth 300 plus 200 in interest. So you're not trying to sell your house now. And especially because good luck trying to buy a new one. That's the problem. However, with gold, we don't need a mortgage. We don't have inflation to worry about. That's why I'm saying, so as these people need money and it starts getting a little bit desperate, we walk in with an ounce of gold into a $300,000 house. We don't have to worry about 10% interest rate, because our gold's going to buy the house. This is the part. This is the next level I'm taking you to. So when I say I'm going to buy a house with an ounce of gold, because I don't have to pay the interest. So I moved to the head of the line. All these people are trying to, get the mortgage that nobody wants to loan them. We don't need a mortgage. Here's an ounce of gold, an ounce and a half maybe. And we get the house. And the guy's so happy he's got gold, he's doing cartwheels down the block. That's why I say what I say. The Mercedes, you're going to walk with a half ounce of gold, buy the Mercedes. We don't need loans. We don't care about interest rates. And because the prices will be lower, because the interest rates are driving the prices lower, because if you want to sell it, you've got to include the interest rate, because 99% of the people are going to take a mortgage or a car loan out. So we go to the head of the line with our gold, because you can't lose with gold. And that's the beauty of it. So that's the next layer. I've been watching this girl play chess on YouTube, and I'm really getting a little bit like perturbed with her. So let's go to this chess girl.
You gonna move?
I haven't decided.
Hello. So what's your name?
My name is Faris.
Faris? How do you spell it?
S-A-R-S.
Faris. Okay.
So this girl really bothers me.
It doesn't matter.
She's like a really good player. Her parents are masters. And she keeps playing these idiots.
Nice to meet you.
And she's always smiling, which makes me very leery.
So how good are you?
She's from Sweden. She always, and this guy's like a scammer on the right.
Played 4 months, but I thought you were like super good.
No.
Did you start at the
So
same time?
so why are we? So I leave these comments to her. This is the comment I leave to this smiley little bitch. And I'm going by how I teach my class. I'm training you. I'm teaching you. You can ask questions. I give you answers. And I use logic. What the fuck was that? So this guy is a scammer. He says he's a beginner and he's like a 2,000 rating, whatever that means. She's like a 2,800 rating, whatever that means. What would my rating be? Like 50,000? I don't even know. How do you rate football picking and economist and poker and stuff? What the fuck was that? So the guy lies and says he's a beginner and he's not, and he's cheating. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? No one cares. Why don't you explain the strategy watching you play? Why don't you explain the strategy? Watching you play some liar and it's too fast to follow what you're doing. Why the time limit? Very, very stupid, a waste of time. The professor, I teach gold, football, and economics. If I did it your way, no one would watch or learn anything. And then I do a Bobby at the end, shake my head. I have to do that for you, Bobby. So I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? Do I really care watching you play some guy? Then they have this 5-minute clock. Why do you have a clock? Because now it's real fast, right? So watch the first 2 minutes, right?
You were like, you sounded like 4 months too. Okay, that's really funny.
So watch how they start. It's like very perturbing, and they don't explain what the fuck they're doing. So they use these clocks.
What's 3 minutes?
It's 3+2. Okay, I just started a mistake. Good game. All right.
So watch how fast they go.
Okay, there we go.
Boom, but who the fuck can follow it? Why are they going that fast, and why aren't they explaining what they're doing? This guy's a liar. Why do I need to watch a liar? Nobody wants to watch liars. It's enough already. And this girl always smiling like, okay, shut the fuck up. But look how fast they're going. He's lying and cheating. He ends up cheating at the end, moving pieces back and forth, but it's the pace of play. They're not explaining anything. So I sit there like, well, what the fuck? What do I care about this? I don't have a bet on it. You have this 5-minute time limit, so you're going real fast. I don't know what you're doing. I play a little chess, but I don't understand the strategy like I do craps, football, poker, inflation, economics, and gold. I can teach you that 100 times better than, I don't understand chess. It's never been taught to me. What is the strategy? What the fuck are you doing? I don't know. She doesn't explain it. She just plays the guy. And then they're hitting, and then the clock's going, and then, well, why are we worried about? I don't have a 5-minute clock on here. How the fuck could I explain things if I had a 5-minute clock? Why would I have a 5-minute clock? I go as long as it is. We're going 2 hours. She's got a 5-minute clock. So I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck is the point of you doing this? Watching your game. What's the point? There's no point. You're not teaching me anything. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So it just makes for a very and she's always giggling, go be a model somewhere, or go be sell Coca-Cola, with the giggles and the short outfits. I don't know if she's a porn star or a chess player. She's from Sweden, and her parents are apparently masters. So I don't know what does that mean? So why are you not okay? This is what I'm doing. I'm making this move because I'm trying to create this. Why are we buying gold? Because they're inflating the dollar to zero. Our move is to buy gold. That's a very simple explanation of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But if you watched her, you would know what the fuck she's doing. What are you fucking doing? So I don't know. So I don't like that. I just sit there and go, what the fuck? Anyway, something's supposed to happen in the stock market tomorrow. It's supposed to go down, according to this Kramer guy. He's a loser anyway. He's admitted he's a communist, so I really don't want to listen to him. And I hate all these CNBC guys, CNN guys, all that shit. Anyway, so watching these videos, if they don't explain what they're doing, what's the point of them? And it's like the gold guys who do it, Maloney and those guys. They say, but they don't explain. Or our favorite guy, the one guy who owns the gold company, and he says, well, the demand for gold's really high. So what the fuck does that mean? Who cares that the demand for gold's high? What does that mean? Is the price going up? No. Somebody said, well, we could all buy an ounce, and it's still not going to make the price of gold go up because the paper derivatives are going to lower it. And there's a lot more paper derivatives they can print than going up. So these guys are real idiots. Like, they don't understand why they're doing it. Most of them are salesmen, so they're doing it for that. This chess player, I don't know what she's doing. She's not selling anything. So I don't really get what she's doing, saying, watch me play chess, but I'm not going to explain it. Okay, so what the fuck would I watch it for? I watched a few of hers, and I leave the same comments. Of course, she doesn't have the balls nobody has the balls to reply to me. It's just funny. But like this, anybody that laughs like that, I really question their motives, because you're playing chess. Why are you laughing? What are you trying to do? You don't hear me giggle about the inflation and everybody's going to get ruined. I don't laugh at it. It's not a laughing matter. It's a sad matter. But this is the problem. So anyway, I was telling you about Hungary. So they are going very Austrian economics, as is Europe. Europe's starting to realize they're fucked with the euro, and they're starting to vote in, I guess, if they're legal elections with George Soros around, and voting in more conservatives. Now, we want Austrian economics, not conservatives, not liberals, not Republicans. We want Austrian economics people in there because that's us. That's Say's Law. That's Gold System. That's Adam Smith. That's how a system needs to be run. Good, strong money backed by gold, good laws on all this shit. And that's, so I might think about moving to Hungary if they get the inflation under control. I might have to talk to this guy and tell him you got to back it by gold. I was kind of surprised that it was so the inflation was 20%. But again, they're measuring it by prices, so it really doesn't mean anything. And you don't know the real reason that the prices are up or down. Prices go down because of the market every day. If nobody bought, so this went up to $12. I bought it for 9 or 10. So if this went down to 9 next year, is that deflation? If nobody bought it at 12, you damn right it would go down in price. But it's such a small price, and I buy it once a year that, okay, 10, 11, 12 doesn't matter. I don't know if I'm forced into, is this like gas where I got to buy it no matter what? However, there would be competition like Street and Smith's that I could buy instead of that if I can find it. They only had this at Barnes and Nobles, so they didn't have the big selection. But anyway, so I don't get paid today. I get paid next week. So next week, that check's got to cover rent, and I got Irina's birthday. I always give her a present. It's funny. I'll give her money, go buy yourself, but I never get a present on mine. I always love these girls. I always give them presents for their birthdays. But when it comes to my birthday, sorry. I remember I was in Barcelona with Jenna, and it was like April, and I'm going, well, my birthday was March 7th. Yours is May 11th. Why don't we do something for our birthdays? What are you getting me for my birthday? And she just nothing. Oh, God. I don't have any money. Well, you can pay me in another way, but that's not an excuse because I give you money. I gave her some money for the trip. She was going shopping with her friend. I gave her, I think, 50 or 100 euros. Well, you could have taken 5 and gotten me something. So don't tell me you don't have money. I gave you money, but it's what you choose with it. So that's what kind of that's about the only thing I get a little bit upset at. Like, it's my birthday. You can't buy me, an ice cream or, a little T-shirt that says Barcelona. Like, I bought my plate. Right, so I collect these a little bit. So I got this. This was $10, $11. So you could have bought me this. I mean, like, don't play that game on me. See, that's why I'm like upset. And think twice before I'm meeting her again. Is that kind of behavior and leaving me early? I'm not quite sure how fast I'm meeting you again. So when she said come to Berlin, I was kind of like, no, I don't think so. Well, I looked at the price, but at $2,000, and I didn't want to meet Hitler's grave or Hitler's granddaughter or anything there. So I left that alone. But that's such. I hate that thought process. I don't have money. Well, why don't you try working or keeping some of the money I give you and buying me something? So that's where I really have a little pet peeve there. But anyway, so this will be curious what Europe does with their elections, how you're electing conservatives, which is a good sign, but Europe's collapsing and the euro's collapsing. They're all having high inflation. Berlin was very high inflation. And they all lie about it. Oh, it's 5%. No, it's 20%. Well, they only select a few items. They don't look at everything, and it's not prices, it's printing. And they print the euro to death. So what you got to do is start backing it by gold, but they're too stupid to have gold. What the fuck are they doing? Well, they want to see if they want to control us, they don't want us to have gold, which is the whole point, right? We don't want you guys to be free. Gold's freedom, and the dollar, we're going to keep you down because we're going to inflate it, and then it won't have a value, and now you need the government to control you. And that's the best part of gold is its freedom, right? But only if you understand it would you buy it at these low prices. Otherwise, you're going to say, well, it doesn't move. Why would I buy gold? And I'll get into the stock market instead. And that's where people are really getting. You want to see attack on Wall Street, you're going to see attack on Europe. When these idiots are in the stock market and it crashes, then they're going to be like, shit, nobody will have money except for the gold people. So we can rule the world. But that could be a place to move to is Hungary. I'll keep it on the back burner. Now I have to go there. Budapest seems nice. I don't know. Never been there. Been to Romania, so that was fine. Bucharest was nice. It's all nice, but you got to realize it's kind of communist. Romania was communist by the Russians. Hungary was. Yugoslavia was. So it's all, no good economics comes out of it. So that's the problem with it. Just Britain and France, and then West Germany, and I'm not sure Spain is. I think they helped the Nazis. I don't know if they were what kind of economics they were, but Italy's all fucked up. Greece was fucked up. You can see all these countries are fucked up, but I don't know. The dollar is losing. So you go to gold in half these countries and you'll be king. Anyway, so it's 10 o'clock on a Thursday. Work went well. So my last 9-hour day today, had a meeting, kicked ass on it. And it was my first steel meeting, so I was good about that. And then tomorrow's the 4-hour day, so I will do it. Now, I don't know. Should I do a show tomorrow at 3 or 4 o'clock? Because when I get done, I usually go to the gold store, go swimming. I might go get ribs tomorrow. Or I'll go cook ribs. I haven't decided. Saturday's Chinese, as we know. So I'll have to see. But I don't know. I come on at like the last few Fridays at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and there's nobody here. So it's good when I have the comments. But when I don't have any comments and I got nobody watching, I don't know what to do. I think people can watch without me seeing them. So like now I see one watcher, but I might have 10 people, but maybe there's a trigger to them watching, or it's the Canadian who I won't let comment or something like that. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. So the market might crash. Andrew McGuire's on tomorrow. We'll watch in the morning and buy your gold and silver. It's waiting. The BRICS will be August 20th in Johannesburg, South Africa. They'll all probably be buying Krugerrands there. So that's going to really force the gold price up, the inflation. So what they're trying to do is say, oh, no, inflation's fine. So you don't get out of the dollar and you don't run and buy gold. That's what they're trying to do. That's why they're saying, oh, look, we fixed it. It's fine. It's 3%. It's 3% like I'm a 20-year-old kid. Come on. There's no way it's 3%. That's just fantasy talk. But that's my point. You can't believe these politicians. They lie through their teeth. They do it to get elected. Now they can say, oh, look, we solved it. The inflation came because of the pandemic and because of the Russians, and we solved it. So vote for us. That's all this is about. It's such bullshit. Don't fucking believe a word of it. Inflation is not better. Go look at the Oreos. They're still $5. The Cheerios, they're still expensive at the store. They haven't went back down to $2 or whatever they should be at. Should be 89 cents for Oreo cookies. Anyway, so that's what's happening. The more gold and silver you can buy, the better it is. as I talked in the football, the when you look at risk and reward, the risk of buying gold and silver is zero. It cannot go to zero, it cannot go down, it can only go up. So your risk is zero and your reward's huge. There's no, I mean, we're thinking $50,000 gold once it goes to the free market, and I'm showing you Montana and Rice cards that are over 100. So it's not like assets don't get that high. So that's my point. Versus the risk of keeping your money in dollars, keeping your money after hitting that Titanic. So you have a bigger risk that this goes to zero with no reward. You have to buy stocks to get a reward, but how much reward are you going to get? You buy Tesla at what, 300? Where's it going? You're going to go to 600 to double it? I guarantee you gold at 2,000 is going to go to 4,000. That's a no-brainer. So if you're comparing the two, and there's no capital gains tax, like if you buy the stock, you're going to pay, you got tax coming on that, right? But if you're in gold, if you don't sell it, you don't know what nickel in tax, and they don't even know you have it. That's the best part of it. And you're free from their tyranny. So again, if we look at risk reward, which is how you invest, it's how you do everything. Women, poker, what's poker? They're all doing risk reward. Well, the pot odds say this and I can win that. Or if I catch my flush, I can win this. So that's all they're doing is risk and reward. Women's the same way. You're risking, should I ask her out? And what's the reward? Is she nice or is she a bitch? What do I want to do with it? So that's really the whole life is risk reward. And that's what you're trying to measure it up. So I gave you the example in football. Bobby's got a higher risk for the same reward betting LSU as he does betting Utah, Army, and New Mexico State, and USC over, and. So that's how I pick. I look at all the games and then I try to weed out the risky and give the better risks, and all the rewards the same. You bet a 2-team teaser, it's 11-10 most places, right? Forget MGM. So 11-10, I bet 110 to win 100. But if I pick the games that aren't as risky, so I'm picking the less risky games, that's where the lock is. The lock's like you got very small risk of it losing. That's what a lock is. And the higher risk games, I bet smaller on. Well, this one's a little more risky. I don't know, UCLA and Coastal Carolina over. Well, it's 67. UCLA's got a new quarterback. We got McCall with Coastal Carolina. So what's the risk of it going over? Neither team's got a defense. So you look at all that. That's why the higher the over-under, if it hits 75, the risk is higher you'll lose. And that's why we've been cleaning up on Georgia unders. We've been cleaning up on Iowa State unders and Washington State unders and Iowa unders, because in a normal Georgia game, the over-under is like 52, 53. So when you add the 6 is 59, the risk of them going over 59 is almost zero, because who the hell is going to get a first down on Georgia? Iowa, the same. The difference is in the Iowa games, the over-unders are 40, 42. So that makes it more risky because there's less points they can give up. So if I get a Georgia under versus an Iowa under, and the Georgia's 52 and the Iowa is 42, I'm going to bet on Georgia because I can go to 58 against the defense you're not going to score on. Versus Iowa, who, yeah, you're probably not going to get 10 points in the game, but it's only 42. So you got to go under 48. Even last year, they had, I think it was Iowa, Illinois, it was a 32. And it still didn't, it got to 20. I think it was 20 to 17 or something really, no, it was like 17 to 10 or something like that. It was a very low scoring game. You still won the under at 32 in that game, which you would have, because Illinois has got a really strong defense also. But that's what you're looking at. And so you're ranking the games by risk, and you're saying this is more risky than that. This is more risky than that. The reward's the same. You're getting 11 to 10. So the lock comes in the fact there's less risk. Georgia under, I'm locking, there's less risk. Maybe New Mexico State, I might lock week 1 because they're going to kill UMass. And the quarterback staying and Jerry Kill's still the coach. And the chance of them losing is 0. And they got a good quarterback, and they were explosive the last 5 games. So they figured it out. They were very good last year. The quarterback's back. They should put up a 40, and Massachusetts sucks. So the risk of New Mexico State not winning by 2.5 points, the spread. Now, if this is a 20-point spread, the risk is higher. But at 8.5 down to 2.5, the risk of them not winning by 3 is so small that you make it a big bet. That's the whole thing. Utah, Florida, you're looking at the risk going. Florida's got a new quarterback. Utah's got Rising back. It's in Mile High in the mountains in Utah. It's revenge. So you got all these. Okay, so very little risk. Florida, their first game with the new quarterback. And again, it's not in the swamp. It's in the mountains. So it's a revenge. Utah with Rising should win by 30 points. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at. So that's where you post all these variables, revenge. The team has to win to get to the bowl. The team has to win to win the Big Ten or to get to the playoff or whatever the carrot is at the end makes it where now you're looking at the variables making the risk higher or lower. So a lot when I kind of catch, Tom Brady needs to win to make the playoffs, and it's Tom Brady, the risk is very small. They don't get it if the line's right. So if the line's 7 and Brady needs to win to make the playoffs, or they started with a 3-game losing streak and they're playing Miami when he was at New England and they had to win and the spread was 7, that was a lot because they had to win the game or they're down 3-4 games into the season. They're down 3-4 games. So there's all these different variables, which is why I explain it's very hard to do it math-wise, but you can do it. You can do the risk and think this risk is very small. The reward's all the same, and that's really where I take advantage of betting football or poker or whatever. It's the reward. It's 11 to 10. I bet a 2-team teaser. If I find 4 or 5 strong games, I bet a 4 or 5-team teaser. Now I'm getting rewarded. I'm getting 4 to 1 for my money. I bet 100 to win 400 with 4 teams that I love that have very low risk. And that's how you do it. But you see, so what I excel at is figuring out the risk. Bobby's not figuring out the risk because he wants to bet a real hard game, and he's taking the wrong side in that game. If you take emotion out, you're betting the dog, right? You got 2 strong teams, you bet the dog. But he's not doing that because he likes LSU. So that's where a lot of players lose is they're betting Michigan or Ohio State, but they shouldn't be. The Michigan TCU game. I'm from Michigan. I love TCU. I had TCU locked, I believe, and TCU wins the game straight out. But I was getting 7. I kicked it up to 13. My risk on that game was almost 0 because even if Michigan won, they weren't going to win by 13. Because I knew TCU has a great offense and a great coach and a fairly good defense. And Michigan, I don't like their quarterback. So the risk on that game was very slim. And then in the championship game, the over on the TCU game was so obvious. Ohio State and Georgia played an 80-point game, and Michigan and TCU played an 80-point game. So I knew Georgia could score on TCU. I thought TCU was going to score a little bit more on Georgia, but it didn't matter. It ended up being a 75-point game, but Georgia got all the points, but I didn't care. But that's what I was looking at. So you're trying to look at live underdogs, and that's why I rank all the teams in pro and college. and look at who scores and who doesn't, who has good defense. So it's all about risk. And then the point spread is the final piece of the puzzle. You're making Army 7 over Lou Monroe, very little risk, Army -1. Now, if you made it 17, yeah, there's a lot more risk that Army can win, but they might not win by 10 or 11 in a teaser. And that's where you got to really look for a Z team to bet a high number, a 30-point game. I think there's only like Texas Rice is 35. So the spread's high, but the risk of Texas blowing out Rice is so small that they'll probably win by 50 anyway because Rice stinks. So therefore, that's what you're looking at. So, but they're so dominant over them that the risk of the points doesn't matter. But in LSU against Florida State, the risk on playing the favorite is huge because Florida State's got the same team as LSU. They're equal. And in an equal game, you want the dog. And that's why you rank the teams how I rank them. So if it's UCLA, they're an over team. They don't have a defense. Neither does USC. Utah does. Washington doesn't. Oregon, the whole fucking league, except for Washington State and Oregon State, have fairly good defenses. So that's what you're looking at. So the whole pack, Arizona State's a bunch of high-scoring, no-defense teams. So when they play each other, you just bet the fucking game over, and the key is what the total is. So if you get a 60 total in a Pac-10 game that's not involving Washington State and Oregon State, you just go to the bank. Well, Stanford sucks too and Cal, but if you got Washington, USC, UCLA, and it's 62, off to the bank with that one. That's for sure. The risk is very slim because you got explosive offenses with no defense. So you understand the team. So that explains the risk for you. And that's really as simple as I can make. That's life. It's all, is it riskier to do this than it is to do that? And that's why I get into this. The risk on holding this is huge. The risk on buying gold is zero. So why leave your money in dollars? It really doesn't make sense. And then why leave your money in the stock market? I mean, it's going to crash. I mean, you're going to wake up one day, probably September, October. That's when it normally crashes, is that third and fourth quarter. That's why most of them are October crashes, because they're trying the portfolio managers are getting rid of their dogs. So they're making all these sales so they look good to get their bonuses. But so I wouldn't be surprised if the market crashes before then, but for sure by October, look out. So again, you're in risk. Anything in dollars, you're in risk. That's why you get out of dollars. So that's why the assets, the Montana Rice card, the Mantle card, the gold, the Rolex, the Picassos, that's what you get into, is things that you're not risking. They can't just make another Picasso or the Joe Montana PSA 10 that's 125,000. They're not gonna. They can't make another Montana. There's a few more 10s, but the demand for the 10 is high. So you're not going to get killed, but they keep printing the dollar. And their measurement is, well, we'll look at prices as a way to measure inflation and we'll just scam everybody. Oh, they don't know. They think it's prices. That's where they're getting you from, is that you think, oh, yeah, prices are down, inflation's over. Why would I need gold? Gold's freedom. That's why you need gold. But that's not the way inflation's measured. It's measured in interest rates. And you can see those are going through the roof in houses and cars. And that's how you measure real inflation, not the prices, because the prices, there's multiple reasons the price goes up and down. Like we said, if there's no demand for this, the price goes down. Does not mean it's inflation or deflation. It just means the market, maybe there's another whiskey that they want. Maybe there's a Canadian Club 25-year, and everybody jumps to that. Nobody wants the 12-year, even though this is Canadian Club 1997, so it's 37-year. So I gotta re-sticker it. I should cross out the 12 and put 37. But there's always competition. That's the beautiful part of Austrian economics and Adam Smith is the competition that you don't have in a communist market economy where the government dictates. They don't allow competition. You go to Canada and buy liquor, you're going to the Canadian liquor place. You have to. So you're going to the Liquor Canada or whatever they call it. If you're buying gold, it's Canada Bank or whatever. That it's the government running things. That's why they're all fucked there. Anyway, you don't want to be in a communist or socialist system. You end up losing, as they said, you lose your freedom, you lose your independence, and now your whole life is dependent on the government. We don't want that. We want to be free. We don't. It's funny. They bitch about slaves, and what are they doing? They're trying to make everybody slaves. It just blows my mind how you think we'd be. We just watched Hitler throw everybody in concentration camps. And I'm speaking Hitler because Jenna just went to Berlin. And Bobby, I just shook my head like, why are you going? What is in Berlin that I would, you'd think I'd want to go see? It's just amazing. Anyway, so that's really what life is about, is the risk and the reward. So in football betting, it's the same reward, so you take less risk. In poker, sometimes you have more risk for less reward. So let's say I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm looking for a straight, and somebody's got 4 diamonds out. Why would I play? If the 9 of diamonds comes and makes my straight, it makes his flush. Guess what? Flushes beat straights. Why would I chase? So my risk is huge and my reward's 0 if the 9 of diamond. Now, if the 9 of clubs comes out and I get my straight, the flush goes away. I don't win any money. There's no reward unless only if the 9 of diamonds comes, and then I'm the one who gets fucked. So you're playing the risk reward there too. And in poker, it's hard to figure. I mean, you get aces, you don't know how much to bet. Do you bet a lot? Do you bet a little? If you bet a little, you leave people in, and then they catch 2 pair on you, and you're fucked. So now your risk is huge, your reward's nothing. So it's how do I play? That's why you got to learn the people to learn your risk. This guy's a good player. This guy's a bad player. This guy only plays good hands. This guy bluffs. This guy doesn't bluff. You're lining up your risk. That's what you're doing. So that's really what you're doing in all of life. You're lining up the risk, and then what's the reward for the risk? So that's what you're trying to do. And it's a good way to go through life because you'll end up having multiple choices. You got 5 choices. That's your risk. What's my reward? So it could be women. It could be poker. It could be football games. It could be jobs. You could have 5 job offers. What's your reward? So the risk is choosing the wrong job, and then what's the reward? That's why you got to know the pay. And whenever you're applying for jobs, never say what you made. Never say what you want to make. You can say if you made 80 grand, you would say 85. They can't check. But one thing I would not do is say, what are you looking for? That's like asking me my hand in poker. What do you got? Well, you'll never find out. I'm not going to tell you. Unless you call me, then I'll show you. If you don't call me, you're not going to find out. And that's really what it is with jobs. You never say, oh, I'll take 90,000. No. They make the first move because they might say 100, and you're going to go, that's what happened to me at Hurley. They made me a good offer. I was a few dollars less I would have taken, but I'm very happy here. And I'm working from home. I got 4 9-hour shifts in a 4, making good money. I can go run and buy gold. So I'm a happy camper. I'm just hoping the recession stays off long enough so I can keep working. I'd love to work another couple years, and then I will have enough gold that I will retire. I just don't think I had enough money. Well, I had enough money if gold would have went where we think gold's going, but the time it's taking for the gold to go, I needed to come back to where, and I don't mind. It's not hard. I like it. I enjoy analyzing, so it's really good for me. And then I can help the girls out. If I wasn't working, I would never have told Jenna to go to Berlin, but because I'm working, I could do that and help the girls and birthday presents and everything, which is what I like. So, and it's funny, I really don't do it to get paid back or any, okay, you owe me, or okay, now I'm going to get this. Just the birthday gift. But I'm saying, it's a $5 gift. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want. But it's just funny how the girls they'll buy themselves perfume, but sorry, Howard, I don't have any money for you for your birthday. And then I'm like, okay. Now I understand where I'm at. Anyway, so that's about it. We'll keep an eye on Andrew McGuire tomorrow. Keep an eye on bricks. But don't believe this inflation. Interest rates are still going up. They're still going to raise now, again, the Fed has nothing to do with mortgage and cars. Those are based on inflation, not the Fed. So if the Fed raises rates a quarter point, a half point, it's got nothing to do with mortgage rates and car rates. Those are based on inflation. High inflation, I need to get money back. That's all it's based on. So don't get fooled into thinking, well, if the Fed cuts rates, my mortgage will go down. No, it's not how it works. Actually, it's the other way. When the Fed goes up, the mortgage rate should go down because there's less risk of inflation. But again, inflation doesn't solve, or interest rate hikes do not solve inflation. They might solve prices, but they won't. Like I said, they can't put the dollar back together. The boat hit the iceberg. That's the inflation. So, the water's not coming in as bad. That's what they would say, right? Well, yeah, but the boat's still going to sink. See, so that's the point. The boat hit the iceberg. Water's coming in. It's sinking. This hit the iceberg. It's sinking. There's nothing that's going to save it but the gold boat. So all of a sudden they present gold, then you're okay. You always want gold over paper because gold's real and it doesn't lose its value. It's impossible. There's too much demand for it. It's when it isn't, and then the Bitcoiners will think, oh, well, we got Bitcoin instead of gold. Yeah, good luck with that, fella. What's Bitcoin? Again, I don't even know what it is, and really what's the value in it? How do you value computer data? Really? And the funny part is people are stupid enough to believe in that. They don't know what it is. They don't understand it. They don't know why it goes up. There's certainly no supply and demand involved in that. Is there price fixing? Probably. But what is it? All right. Anyway. Anything else, Bobby? You still awake? 10:46. I better get off. Get ready for bed. Nice short day. And then, so I don't know about doing a show tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night. Maybe I'll go enjoy the day and come on about this time. Let's see what happens in the day. If there's anything to talk about Saturday and Sunday, we will definitely 11:30, 12, and we'll get into more football than we have. We'll do some baseball. That's about it. But really, that's life, risk and reward. And in football, it's the same reward if you play a two-team teaser. So you take the less risky bets. Craps, you have different risk and different rewards, and blackjack certainly, and then poker. It's all over the place, the risk and reward there, and of course women. So anyway, that's about it. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Again, be careful of the stock market. Again, I heard that. I didn't see it anywhere. I tried YouTube, like Mark the stock market revised or revalued. I didn't see anything. Like I said, I saw a bunch of CNBCs, which I don't listen to and don't pay attention to. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. But I don't know. It's way too high, all based on Apple and Tesla's way too high. Get out of the car. Anything that involves interest rates, you probably want to not be in those stocks. Yeah, the gold miners people talk about. Yeah, but I would just buy fucking physical gold and physical silver. And I bought a lot of Newmont mining. I was in and out of that for years, but I have not even looked at it. I don't care. All I want to do is buy gold and silver coins. That's the way to go. And then take your 20 ounce of silver when it finally goes to 10 to 1, and then go buy 2 ounces of gold that way. So that's where the silver really, you'll pay $550 and then you'll turn it into 60,000 in gold. And you'll be like, yeah, okay. That's the risk reward of that. So the risk of gold and silver is 0. The reward's going to be huge. So people don't think there's a reward. This is why they don't buy the gold. They don't understand, again, the illusion that gold doesn't have a value and then there's no reward if I buy it. But if I buy Tesla at $300 a share, my reward's going to be what? It's going to go to what? $1 million? It'll just keep going because it's Tesla. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, have a good weekend. www.teaserking.com. Everything's up on the site as far as the plays, the site, the things. As far as I know, PayPal still works. I got a payment the other day. I moved it to the bank, no problem. So I don't see any issues. And that's about it. So I know it's a little early to buy, but if you want to buy and make a payment plan of a couple of, 2 payments for, let's say you wanted the pros at $599, you can go 300 and 300 if you want. Yeah, whatever. I'll work with you there. But getting anxious for football preseason, I think, starts next week, the Hall of Fame game. So that'll be interesting. The British Open's this weekend. And that's about it. So have a great week. Have a great weekend. I will probably be on tomorrow night, if not for sure Saturday, Sunday, around that 11:30, 12 o'clock time, whenever I get up and ready to think. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. And take care, everybody. Bye-bye.